In part 2, I got it started and running. In this video, I will check the transmission, go through all the gears, and check the brakes. So let me get it started again, and we'll jump right in. It accelerated and decelerated just fine. The clutch works very well. This is really different for me. I'm used to the foot pedal clutch. The water temperature gauge does not appear to be working. It's not registering at all. So I don't know if I have an instrumentation problem or if I have a coolant circulation problem, which of course would be a larger issue. So I need to look into that. I also need to look into this oil pressure gauge because it just maxed out and stayed maxed regardless of the RPMs. I don't know what's going on there. I don't know if that's an instrumentation issue or if the something is going on causing extra high oil pressure. I'll look into both of those before I run it too much more. So I've got some more issues to resolve, but that will do it for this video. Thanks for watching and stay tuned for part 4. Regarding the oil pressure issue, I have learned that there is an oil pressure adjustment screw. So I'm going to remove the plate on the top of the crankcase and see if we can find it down in there. These John Deeres are just such completely different animals. That's what I'm looking for right there. That's the oil pressure adjustment screw, evidently. As far as how much to adjust the screw, I have no idea. I know that clockwise increases the oil pressure, so I want to turn this counterclockwise. I'll start with about 1/3 of a turn and go from there. So right now, from my perspective, the slot in the screw is pointing to about 10 o'clock. This will give me a starting reference point. I could even mark it with a paint pen, but I don't think that will be necessary. First, I have to loosen the jam nut. So what I need to do is get a wrench down there instead of a socket so I can hold the screw and turn the nut at the same time. I know it's hard to see down in here. I'm trying to get the best shot I can with the camera. But I was able to just reach my other hand down there and hold the nut while I turned the screw. So it was just past 10. Now we're just at 6 o'clock. Which is, you know, maybe about a 30% counterclockwise turn. Now I just have to secure the nut again. Well, the screw moved on me a little bit when I tightened it, so let me reset my position and then tighten the jam nut again. Okay, we're gonna go with that. So, all right, that's about a 30% counterclockwise turn. So, unfortunately, the only way to test this, I gotta button everything back up, start the engine, read the gauge, and then repeat the process if necessary. Maybe I'll get lucky and it'll be just where I want it. I didn't want my socket falling into the crankcase on accident, so I came up with a hillbilly solution here and just taped it up with gaffer's tape. It worked great, and for the record, the jam nut down there is 1 1/16. The gasket is still intact, so I'm just going to wipe it off and reuse it. Okay, there's only one way to know if my adjustment had any effect. I have to start at the tractor. Okay, that actually did have an effect on the gauge. It came down just a little bit at idle. So I'm going to repeat the process, do it one more time, and then probably call it good. Sorry for the shaky video. Here I'm starting the tractor out at idle, then slowly increasing the throttle to max RPMs, then dropping it back to idle. I'm finally getting a discernible difference on the pressure gauge based on RPMs. So the drain plug is essentially directly below the cylinder head. This is a 9/16 square head. The coolant system capacity is about 6 gallons, give or take. I'm going to mix this coolant myself, so I'm going to put distilled water in first. We'll start it up and let it go through a heating cycle and check the level again. This is a crankcase breather, but it's also where you add the oil. Let me go clean this and we'll put oil in it. Well, that was about 12 minutes in the ultrasonic cleaner. Pretty good job. The bottom plate is spring loaded. Here's the old and the new. Identical. This is a Napa gold filter number 1242. And it comes with two different sized O-rings because these filters are used on more than one John Deere model. So one of these is going to fit my tractor. I want to remove this old O-ring so I can put the new one in. Okay, that one is clearly too big. That one is just right. Can I do this one-handed? Probably not. My theory is that this is just a supplemental crankcase oil check valve. So just for fun, I'm gonna see if I can get a camera down there. So this should start seeping out when I hit about 7 quarts. Let's see what happens. So for the John Deere experts out there, if you can tell me, why do we have 2 crankcase check plugs? There's one there on the left side beneath the flywheel, and one right there on the right side beneath the pulley. Maybe they serve different functions. I'm not sure. Put it down in the comments if you know, please. I'd appreciate it. So this is the right-hand rear brake. I want to see if I can turn that screw and tighten them up a little bit. Originally there was a handle here connected to a rod that ran up to a valve near the sediment bowl. It was used to turn the fuel on and off and also to switch tanks. And this right here says open. This is supposed to open and close the front shutters on the front of the radiator for cool weather. But there's not even a rod hooked up to it anymore. This is just free spinning. And I looked up here and there aren't even shutters in there anymore. Not that all right, I'm gonna get rid of this wire once and for all. We just don't need it. Go back to doing it the old-fashioned way and just shut off the fuel. So just got done changing the oil and filter. I'm going to start it up one more time, make sure there's no leaks, make sure we have oil pressure, and then I'll wrap this video up. Wow, that ran a long time after I shut the fuel off. Must be a big bowl in this carb. I think that's the better way to do it versus grounding the magneto out. Oil change is successful, no leaks. It's still running great. I'm satisfied with the oil pressure. The water temperature gauge is working. Everything's pretty good. I have a few more things I want to do. One is I want to investigate the oil in the rear end and transmission a little bit more closely. I did check the level, so I know it has oil in it before I drove it. But I'll probably just go ahead and flush it since I don't know anything about it. And I also want to go around the tractor, find all the Zerk points, lube everything up, check the bearings in the front wheels, a few miscellaneous things. And I might even do something about this paint. Not sure about that yet. But this tractor's coming along better than I thought it was going to. But aside for some oil and fluid, which I had a lot of, I don't have much money in this at all. I haven't had to buy any new parts for it except the oil filter. Knock on wood. So far so good. And it's kind of a beater, but she's growing on me a little bit. All right, thanks for watching, and stay tuned for part 5.